it's all working, so I'm going to leave it running for its required 2 hours and possibly get on with cutting the new worktop while it does that. The diesel heater is running away, seemingly quite happily, so it's been doing that for about an hour and all seems okay. I don't want to leave the van, so what I'm going to do while it runs is now use the old worktop as a template and cut out the new one. Right. Noticing that there are blobs of wood that I stuck on to hold the sink and the gas pipes in place, I will have to do it this way round, but then that sticks over the edge, so that's annoying. No, it's going to have to be. I'm either going to have to take these. Oh, why is it never straightforward, is it? Because if it goes that way, it's not lying flat, and that leaves the way open for error. And I'm not sure if I can get those bits off because I think I glued them on very, very firmly. Oh, that's going to be annoying, isn't it? Also, that's clearly not a straight... No, I'm going to have to... How was that one held on? That is also held on with glue. It is arguably easier to take that off. Possibly. Yes, there we go. Oh, look, I had dowels in there. Okay, right. I will need that as a template as well. However, with that done, that will now lie flat that way. Good. And the only thing I thought I wanted was another ½ inch on this edge. I mean, I could measure it, but why measure it when you can just eyeball it and hope for the best? You know, I might measure it. So in theory, that is now the right shape. It's so long since I've done this, I've kind of forgotten what you do. Right, tools. The heater, by the way, is still chugging along quite happily, it seems. So what do we need? We need a nice sharp blade. I don't know how sharp any of these are now. It's a while. I mean, I've used them a lot. Okay, we need a battery. That one has enough power. Remembering that that line is exactly on, so I need to cut not into it, but be on that line. Health and safety first. Right. Well, hopefully that's now an exact match. However, we know what Sod's Law is like, don't we? Keep all the combustible wood shavings away from the diesel heater, which I can hear is still running. Okay, let's try this out. Oh. Now then, that was the bottom, wasn't it? So that's the top. Oh my! Oh my goodness me, I'm not unhappy with that. It's a little bit off here, which is fractionally annoying. I can trim that. That's not too bad. It's not great, but actually I'm definitely not going to complain about that. I've given it a little bit too much overhang. I wonder if that's going to be annoying in any way, shape or form. I don't mind a little bit of overhang here because it was too short before, and now it's a little bit too much. So I could either trim that far edge, or I could quit while I'm ahead and say actually that's okay, as long as I can still hang the towel down here, because I used to use this as a towel rail. I don't want to have the overhang so large that I can't get the towel down there anymore. That's down, that's through. It's a little bit fiddly. It always was a little bit fiddly, but there we go. That's still doable. And then the other thing I used to hang on here was the what do you call this, tea towel, and that's a much thinner thing, so it's easier to get down the hole anyway. I fear that if I start trying to cut this by a tiny amount to make it just that tiny bit better, I'll end up cocking it up. What would I need to take off? I'd need to take off a little bit there. No, I think I'm going to quit while I'm ahead, except I will trim a tiny bit off the end there. Right, and we can take that out and take that out. That's fine. Good. Good. And I've trodden mud into the van. Yeah, that needs trimming. This could be where it all fouls up, but let's find out. Right. Gently does it. Yes, well, inevitably I've made it better in some ways and slightly worse in others. When that is screwed down, actually, that'll be fine. It's a shame I've overcut that bit. I don't know how that happened. I must have done it like that on the first one. However, I think we'll live with that. Once that is screwed into place, that will be fine. Now, the other exciting thing about this is I have a new sink. And here is the sink, upside down for the purposes of drawing. And it will need to go there. And then also, the old tap, which I've taken off the old thing, which is dripping water, which is annoying. That will need to go, oops, lost a bit. That will need to go there somewhere. And we need to not be touching anything underneath. So that's going to be interesting. Let's just have a look without the lid on. Oh. Pop that there for a second. So that is going to be, oh, that is going to be, and there. So basically anywhere around here is fine for the sink. There's enough depth for the sink, that's fine. And then the other thing to take account of is the tap, which again, as long as I just bring it a little way away from the edge, there will be space for it. And it will need to be next to that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, I think I'm just going to have to be bold and go for it. So that needs to go about there, and that leaves me enough space for a hole for the tap there. Right, here goes nothing. Now, bearing in mind, the hole needs to be less than what I'm marking. I'm marking the edge, but in fact it needs to be in a bit. So And also I notice marking this on the top, so I'll have to erase the pencil mark. So what I need is to cut less than that by however much the diameter of that flat bit of the sink is, which is an amount. Okay, I have marked out a roughly 1 centimetre inner circle. I shall now make a space for my drill bit to go through. Let's just double think this. Yes, that'll be fine, he said with bold confidence. Okay. Oh! Ho-ho! Oh, I'm pleased with that. Just need a bit of sealant to gunge that in with. I don't have any, but that's easily sorted. And then the only other thing is to put a hole here for the tap. I might just go and see how that looks in situ. Well, I am, and I hope you'll agree justifiably, quite pleased with that. That will go just there. It's moving a bit because of the waste pipe underneath. But we're not bad, we're not bad. We go under here. This is the main freshwater tank, and then that will go down into this. And so just a little bit of wiggling with that, we'll put that into that one. So that is good. I'm very pleased with that. I just need to drill the hole here for the tap, for which I need my hole saws, which I don't have with me. I shall go and fetch them. I don't want it literally right next to the basin, because I don't like taps that protrude into the basin. If I want to put my head down and wash my face, I want the tap out of the way. And I suppose it does lift, so that's probably not an issue, doesn't it? But even so, you're going to want it about there-ish, aren't you? So it's going to be kind of there. Let us say there. And if it all goes horribly wrong, I'll have to buy another bit of plywood. But that looks like it should be okay. So I'm going to go for that. And I'm hoping that this 38mm hole saw should just be big enough, because it's the closest one I've got. Here goes nothing. Is that in the right place? Yes, I think so. Oh, distinct smell of burning. However, more importantly, I've only just realised how disgusting this tap is. It's covered in hard water stains. What's the stuff called? You know, the grime you get off hard water. Limescale. But if you can overlook that, what we have there is a suitable hole for a tap. Back in the back cave, the heater thing seems to be suggesting it's got 1 minute left on its timer program until it shuts down. So we shall see what happens. It's been saying a minute for about a minute now, so it must be about to switch itself off. Oh, it's gone to 00 on the display. I would assume that having hit 0, it turns itself off. But maybe not. The fan has actually speeded up, but I notice also the display has switched to green lights. Ah, and it says switching off. so it'll go through a little cool down sequence and then be done. Right, while it does that, let's look at the sink. And there we have it. Obviously not fastened down, I need to get that sealant. But there's the tap, which can move up and down as required, and the on-off, which drives a little micro switch. I have actually fastened that in just for the purposes of demonstration. I'm rearranging the bottles underneath to make that waste pipe work better. Ooh, the fan's just switched off. Hang on, excitement. Yep, that's totally switched itself off. Anyway, where was I? I was saying, yes, I've rearranged these. This one used to be this way at the front and that one was at the back. But in fact, it'll make more sense for that waste pipe to go into that one. And the freshwater tank here can then go straight up to the tap once I get the connections reorganised again. But that effectively will go in there to give me the fresh water up to the tap. So that's a better way of doing things anyway. And there's the electrics for the pump, and there's the micro switch contacts from the tap. That's going to work better than it was before, so I'm pleased about that. The only thing I really still need to fix is the little water pump in here. It really doesn't stay attached to the bit of pipe I put in there. It comes off. It's almost perfect, but not quite, so I need to sort that. Well, I am very chuffed with everything. I think that's a very good morning's work. I'm now going to take this worktop inside and stain it with, I think I normally do 2 or 3 coats of the wood stain and then some varnish on top. Then I will glue the sink into place, and then it's just a matter of plugging everything in underneath. The heater clearly works. I've put my hand again on the exhaust pipe, and after 2 hours, yes, it's hot. You don't want to put your hand on it, but you can because of all the lagging, and all the woodwork around it is tepid at best, so I'm very happy with that. Seems to be all good. Anyway, pretty chuffed. And now the next stage is to do the big battery install of the lithium battery and the bigger inverter, and mucking about with all the wiring so as to drive the induction cooktop that I've got that's going to sit over there. That is for a future video.